welcome back. Glad you're joining on Old Path, New Walk. We are on a different level today because you are seeing me in my mom uniform. This is what I would call my big nasty. It's been one of those days. We're making coffee at 3:30. Everything is fine. We really are doing okay. I'm just tired. And I didn't feel like getting into anything other than what I was currently wearing. So I want to get on and talk about letting your kids make messes. This goes against everything that is wired inside of my type A body. And if you're a type A parent like me, you can relate to this. You avoid messes at all cost. It is totally in our nature to want to keep things tidy, want to keep things clean. And we typically teach our kids to avoid messes too, either directly teaching them that or indirectly teaching them by how we respond in different messy situations. And don't get me wrong, avoiding messes is okay to a certain extent, as long as it's done in a healthy way on our part. But as an OT, there is something that I have seen over the years, whether it's kids who are afraid to get messy or kids who have some kind of minor trauma associated with getting messy because of how the parents might react in a messy situation, or kids who are kind of stunted with developmental gains because they're not allowed to make messes. So I just wanted to get on here and talk a little bit about the benefits of getting messy. And I'm going to talk about it in two different ways. Getting messy through messy play, and then just having accidental messes that happen. So some benefits of getting messy during intentional messy play. Obviously, we're in a time where the word sensory is a really hot word, and that one's kind of a given, right? It's sensory exploration, but also for me, I'm really interested in desensitization. So I have a kid personally, and I've worked with many kids over the years who can become desensitized to certain triggers for them when they're playing in a messy way. It kind of helps develop a tolerance for things that they otherwise wouldn't tolerate well. They also learn how to manipulate different mediums and materials with their hands or with their feet or whatever it is. And they also learn how to grade movements when they're doing messy play. So how fast to pour or to grab things, or the speed at which they're doing something. How much force should I apply to grabbing that water balloon or that egg or whatever the messy thing is? How do I grasp certain objects that are slippery or sticky or really crumbly? And how much pressure should I be putting on something so that I can watch it explode? And also, another benefit is it's just fun, right? Maybe, I don't know, we have all kind of had fun making a mess, whether it's playing in the water or even for adults, like when we're baking something and we're getting to use our hands and we're mixing dough or batter or something and it's getting all over us. There's just something satisfying about feeling something different. Then there are the benefits of making accidental messes. You're going to think I'm nuts. But, well, you might actually already think I'm nuts, but that's okay. I sometimes allow a mess to happen. I can see it coming from a mile away, and I let it happen because I know that there are benefits that can be gained from that accident that's about to happen. My kids learn responsibility and taking ownership of a situation when a mess is made. They're learning problem-solving skills and patience and perseverance. That was a lot of P's. And they're learning how to clean up, which I mentioned in one of my last videos. So no matter how your kid is making a mess, there are opportunities for learning for them, but also for us. Yeah, you guessed it. So something that I am constantly trying to be aware of is, how do I respond when a mess is made, or when I allow a mess to happen, and then it's time to clean up? Do I have a posture of micromanaging and being stressed out and looking and feeling overwhelmed? Am I frustrated and angry and annoyed at my kids for making the mess, or for the fact that I have to clean up another mess and it's only like 10 a.m.? Any of these behaviors are easy to do, and I have been guilty of every single one of them. But I do try to be intentional about how I am responding to a mess in that moment, because our kids are picking up on that. They see the behaviors that I have, and they're feeding off of that, and they're learning how they should respond to a mess in the future. We really try to avoid the shame game when it comes to messes. And yes, I understand that that is easier said than done, but it just takes effort and practice on my part. One way that I feel like this is really helping our family grow right now is behavior regulation. So one of my kids really has a hard time with messes, and this kid really is working through how to regulate the emotions and the tantrums when there is a mess made. And instead of adding to the shame and embarrassment and the frustration on this child's part, I need to be really controlled in how I respond to a mess.
Why does this keep happening?
I don't know. I really just need 10 seconds.
Okay.
Finish up. So it's really important how I respond to a mess so that I can help this child be encouraged and have a little bit of self-confidence in how this kid responds to a mess. And no, it's not going to happen every single time. We're not going to be okay with the mess, or this child isn't going to be, but it's the learning and the consistency and just constantly showing up in the same manner of no shame, no judgment. Let's accept the mess and let's clean it up in a healthy way. And I'm hoping that this consistency will help my kid to be okay, or to be more okay with messes in the long run. Also, taking the opportunity to teach them how to clean up instead of doing it for them. This is something that I have seen a lot as an OT and just as a mom who's integrated in the community. It's really easy to want to take control and to do it for them, when in fact they are totally capable of helping clean up that mess, and they might even teach you something in the process. Also, another point, something that I have said before, if it's safe, it's fair game in our house. Kind of the same principle applies to messes. If it's something that can be easily replaced, whether that's because of the mess or because of the cleanup process, then it's a fair learning experience in our house. I always try to consider the cost versus reward when it comes to them making a mess and having to clean it up. Yes, cleaning up a mess always takes more work, more effort, more capacity on my end. But typically, 9 times out of 10, I find that the reward outweighs the cost of the experience. And typically it only takes me like 5 minutes to walk through that process with them. The final takeaway for this: letting your kids make messes is an intentional practice, and it takes practice for all of us to allow those things to happen. But what I have seen in our house is it is well worth it. I've actually seen our kids grow in their willingness to clean up or to participate in the cleanup when they've been allowed to make a mess, or when they don't feel shame from me when they have accidentally made a mess. And I feel like that is going to go a long way. Obviously, my kids are younger, but that's just an observation that I have made in our house. And hopefully you'll see it in your house too. So, call to action for the week: let your kid make a mess, whether that's through intentional messy play or let an accident happen in, a supervised fashion if you want to. But let it happen and see how you respond to it and how the kid responds to it, and let it be a learning opportunity for everybody. If you feel like you're benefiting from the content on this channel, please hit subscribe and give a like to this video so that I know that it's helping anybody. I hope you have a wonderful day. I'm going to finish my coffee and go do something productive. Thanks so much for joining, and I'll see you next time on Old Path, New Walk.